What's up, train fam? We've got a special video for you today on the New Haven Society of Model Engineers. They've got an amazing bridge that will blow mine out of the water. It's an operating bridge. It's O-scale. So let's check it out right now on Real Toy Trains.
We are the New Haven Society of Model Engineers. We started business in New Haven, Connecticut in 1932, and we believe we are the third oldest model railroad club in the United States. The layout you see before you is O-scale, and back in 1932, there was no way to buy all the material that you could buy at the show today. So everything had to be done by hand. So the track work you see here has wooden ties that were glued down, stained first, obviously, glued down, and then the rail was added one rail at a time, just like the real guys do. The track work over here, the switches, and the crossing behind me, you can come around and look, are all handmade as well. Could we have bought the stuff? Yes, but our ancestry was kind enough to show us how to do all this, so we kept up the process of doing that. The club had a layout in New Haven, and they were expanding. And they said, well, they had to go across an aisleway. So in order to go across the aisle, they said, well, guys, we really need to put a bridge there. And if we're going to put a bridge, let's make one that moves, so we don't have to crawl under it. And then they, well, you know, the New Haven has two bridges that could fit the bill. Both are in Devon, Connecticut. They're side by side. They were the last link in the 4-track main line from New York to New Haven. And we thought, that's the bridge we want to model. So they approached the railroad saying basically what their plan was. And the railroad said, well, do you want plans for the bridge? Yes. Would you like a tour of the bridge? Yes. Would you like to see the bridge open? And yes was the next answer. So they gathered all that information and they went back to the club and they said, well, we now need a volunteer to build the bridge. Al Shellback Sr. was a relatively new member of the club, and he said, well, I'm a machinist, I know how to cut metal, I can make this work. I'll do the bridge for you. But this is 1938, and it's the end of the Depression, and I have a house, a kid, a mortgage, and a wife, and I don't know what all else, and I really can't afford to buy any material for it. And the club said, well, all right, well, we'll get the material, and you put the labor in and build it. So he went out and he bought some sheets of brass, which is what you see here. The whole bridge is made out of brass. He bought these little pins, these escutcheon pins, which look like rivets, and he bought the motor and the gears that you see over here. So he then presented the club with a bill for $44.85, which the club did pay. I think we spend more on coffee on that than that these days, but that's inflation for you. So Al set about to build the bridge. He would come home from work, had his dinner, went down in the basement, started cutting the metal by hand, drilling the holes by hand. There are upwards of 33,000 rivets in this bridge, all of which actually hold the bridge together. It's not glued or soldered or anything, it is held together by those pins. And in some cases, there's 3 pieces of metal that it goes through. So I don't know about, I just estimated he probably drilled 60 or 70,000 holes by hand to put this bridge together. He would, the only time he stopped working in the middle of his shift was to come up and listen to the only radio they had in the house, to the Amos and Andy show. They couldn't afford a second radio. And the radio probably weighed as much as the bridge anyway. This is a Shearser rolling lift bridge. It doesn't really lift, it more rolls back on these rollers, these semicircular rollers here. There are teeth on the ground and holes in the metal, so that when it rolls back, it's like a big gear. The advantage of this is that for a given length of bridge, you can get the entire bridge clear of the channel. So between the two sides, the bridge will be out of the way so any large ship can fit through. The bridge is only about 30 feet off the water, so anything really large needs the bridge to be opened. So, now, normally we wait for the dispatcher to tell me it's okay, but since the dispatcher has said it's okay, I guess we're going to go. Now, as the bridge lifts up, we're not actually lifting the bridge, we're actually moving the mass of the bridge because it is counterweighted by those squares on the left. So this is much like an elevator or a seesaw at the amusement park. You're not really picking up all that weight. Now I am going to stop, despite what I said about the fully open, I'm going to stop right there because the scenery is in the way and I don't want to jam up and mess up the scenery, nor do I want to mess up the bridge. So, but if we were to continue, the bridge actually is capable of going back further, but I don't want to get in trouble with the troops. And there are, in the rivet detail on the bottom, he didn't skimp on any of that, he got those too. The bridges, both of the bridges in Devon are owned today by the state of Connecticut and operated by Metro North. Metro North does not really want to open the bridge because they're afraid that if they get it open and they can't get it closed rather, they're going to have problems getting trains over it, and then the commuter service will be impacted severely. So they'll open it if they have to, but they really don't want it. One time I read they wanted 48 hours notice, and when they do open it, the track department is there, the signal department, the power department, and I don't know who all else. It's a whole party. In case something goes wrong, they have it figured out to fix it. I stopped the bridge here, which is mandatory on the originals, because you don't want the momentum of the bridge to carry it below the level of the rail, because that would mess up the interlocking and certainly not let you run trains over it. On the real bridge, there's mechanical locking on the rail so that the trains can proceed at high speed, because Amtrak runs trains at 60 miles an hour over the bridge.
Can I ask you a question? Is it normally that color?
No, at one point it was, I've seen pictures of it black, but the black paint I think was peeling or something, and they decided, before my time,
Okay.
as far as I know, this is the,
Brass, I assume?
this is the tarnished brass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
made entirely out of brass, as I said before.
Wasn't that amazing, guys? Well, thanks for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel, give this video a big thumbs up, and we'll see you next time.